What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and today I brought on a special guest. You guys have seen him before, and you can probably guess what this episode may be about, but it is Filippo from Tactical Manager TV. Filippo, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's kind of weird to see you being nice, but besides that, we're good. We're good here. Let's do this.
Yeah. I gotta dumb down the rudeness just a touch. But if you guys are just tuning in today, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and get ready because we are going to do a Canadian men's national team and U.S. men's national team best combined starting 11. And then also to spice it up, you're going to have to head over to Tactical Manager TV's channel, which will be in the description, to find our match preview. Because I will be going over there and we'll be addressing the game, and it should be a whole lot of fun. So best 11's over here, previews over on Tac's channel, and I guess without further ado, we're going to get started on the formation. Tac, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so the first thing is, guys, he's set to hit the like button, but hitting the dislike button does the same effect. So if you want, do something. Just do something, right? Just do something. It can be a like, a dislike, hopefully a like, but just do something. So we're going to go for 4-3-3. Yeah. Why do we pick the 4-3-3? We talked about this. One is because the U.S., that's the preferred formation for Greg as of now. And it seems like it's probably the most popular formation in the world the last few seasons. So let's just go for 4-3-3. It's not necessarily how the U.S. will play or how Canada will play.
Yep, and it also doesn't mean the players that are in each specific position is exactly what they play. But yeah, it's a very easy one, 4-3-3, and we're going to start with the keeper. And we're going to start, because we're rude, we're going to start with myself. So, that's for the dislike buttons up there. But I did go with Zach Steffen. Taking a look at the keepers, I mean, Borjan does have a ton of experience. Crepeau's kind of coming into his own for the Canadians. But in reality, when you play for a club like Manchester City, even though you're not starting, it still speaks to the pedigree of talent that you are. And I think it'd be a little bit tough not to put Zach Steffen in there. And we'll see what the American has to say.
Yeah, I'm putting Zach Steffen as well. But the thing with Steffen right now is it's really up in the air between him and Matt Turner. I actually think Matt Turner is a better shot stopper. I really believe that. So either option would be okay with. I'm going to go with Zach Steffen because technically he's still our starting goalkeeper until Greg starts Matt Turner in World Cup qualifying. We'll see how he does in regards to that. But yeah, I'm going to go with Zach Steffen there. I think any American that complains about this is just trying to be very picky. Dude, it's Steffen or Turner. Regardless, We're going with Steffen here.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't give justice where it was belonged because that was one of the best goalkeeping performances at the last Gold Cup I've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, Matt Turner, if you can keep it up, look out Zach Steffen because you need playing time, my man. You need playing time. But for right now, you are in our best 11 as we roll over to the right back. And this time I'll be a little bit nicer and I'll let Filippo take it away.
Yeah, the right back, I'm going to give you guys my answer right away, which is Serginho Dest. Plays for Barcelona, and Barcelona just sold Emerson, so that shows that they see him as the starting right back at age, I think that's just turned 21, or he's 20, turning 21. I believe he's 20, actually. The other two options we had were obviously other Americans, which they're obviously behind Dest right now, Yedlin, Cannon, Brian Reynolds, Scally, and then we had also Larea and Buchanan, right? I personally think Buchanan is better for Canada, even though he's not just a right back, he can play as a winger too. But I remember him playing as a right back against Orlando City on that New England game. And I know Nani's not Nani anymore, Prime, but he locked down Nani in that game. He owned Nani and he was dangerous on offense. So I'm going to put Dest, but I rate Buchanan very high. And you've heard me say this for months, actually, since Olympic qualifying. But I'm putting Serginho as our right back.
Yep, and I agree. And speaking of Buchanan, obviously us Canadians rate him very highly. And it's one of those things when you're just finding your way in the MLS. You get thrown into different positions. He did do a job, and he did a decent job at right back. He started seeing a little bit more attacking talent where you saw him going a little further up the pitch, wing back. But I mean, I agree. I think he's better as a kind of a winger, right attacking mid, left attacking mid. But I'd arguably, if we had to play in a 4-3-3 for Canada, I would probably put Buchanan over Richie Larea. But the U.S. men's national team right back depth pool is kind of ridiculous, and Serginho Dest is at the top of it, playing for Barcelona. So, absolutely agree, my man. We are gonna go 2 for 2 for the U.S.
Before we go to the next position, this is an interesting question. You, as a Canadian, if you had to pick a U.S. men's national team and Canadian team, Dest would be your first option, which you clearly just said. Who would be your second option? Not for both. You can pick. Would it be Buchanan or would you go with Yedlin, Cannon? Would you go with, what would you do?
I mean, just from almost a not bias. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of talent in the right back position. But I mean, if you pick up someone like Tejan Buchanan, who's coming into his own, you pick up kind of a 3-for-1. So I mean, just just thinking strategic. If you want to use him as a right back, he's doable there. You can move up to a wing back. You can play him as a winger. He's someone who's very young, very raw, very useful. I think I would go Buchanan if it was a second choice. I mean, I don't mind Yedlin. I think he's a decent player, but I don't know. It just doesn't, not that wow factor that someone like Buchanan can bring compared to Dest. I don't know. What about you?
I'm gonna be very mean here, very rude now. Not very rude. I'm just gonna go a little off of it. I would actually bring Buchanan for the winger position because he can offer those different variations. Yeah. And I would actually bring with Dest a very defensive right back because that's something that Dest lacks right now. And Buchanan is not bad on defense as well, but it's also not his main strength. So maybe Joe Scally, for example, been starting for Borussia Dortmund and doing pretty well on defense. So, but yeah, that was just a question I had. But we can move on to the next position.
Yeah, another very raw talent, and he can play at both left and right back. So there you go. But yeah, now we're going into the heart of the center backs, which us Canadian men's national team fans will probably know, not our biggest strength. So for the duo, we'll do two in a row just because the partnership at the back. I went with Richards and I went with John Brooks. Looking from the Canadian perspective, you could say Scott Kennedy's coming into his own. I think sooner or later you're going to see him in the Bundesliga. He's doing very well right now in the second Bundesliga. There's the seasoned vet in Steve Vittoria, but I mean, when you're playing in the Bundesliga at the high level that John Brooks has proven over the years and the young talent that is Chris Richards, who's coming from Bayern, I think is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, and again, it would almost become a discussion more of like in the US who would start, right? Yeah. That would be the discussion. So some people will probably bash me and you for this, saying that Miles Robinson has to be ahead of Chris Richards, which is a fair argument. It's not a crazy argument. It doesn't matter that he plays in MLS. We saw what he can do. But I'm also going with Chris Richards. I think the only reason Richards is not in the U.S. roster right now was because he was figuring out his loan to Hoffenheim, which now he's going. He's probably going to start for them again. So I'm going with Brooks as the left center back, Chris Richards as the right center back as well.
Yep, and looking back at that Gold Cup, because I watched pretty much every U.S. game as well, just because the team fascinated me to see how they pulled off. And Turner and Robinson were my two standout players, but by a mile, I'd say. I really, really do enjoy the way that Miles Robinson plays, and I think he does deserve a move to Europe if he's willing to make that jump. But yeah, that's a fair shout, and you're probably right. But I had to give that, that sprinkle of Canadian content and who would have been there for the Canadians. But now we got to go to a position where I'm pretty confident that we're going to get the first Canadian in our best 11. It is left back. It is not the position that Alphonso Davies probably will play throughout his Canadian career because he'll be a little bit further up the pitch. But it is a position he plays week in, week out at Bayern. Left back, I'm pretty sure it's a confident lock, Alphonso Davies.
Yeah, I don't think I have to argue with. Left back is also one of the weak spots for the U.S., right? We have Anthony Robinson that's been good in the championship, but he's always been shaky for the U.S. In the Premier League, he did all right, but nothing elite. Then we have Bello, a lot of uncertainties there. Sam Vines, a lot of uncertainties there. So this one's not up for this one. There's nothing to talk about.
That is fair. But for the U.S., you could always toss Dest or Joe Scally to the other side down the road because
they still don't beat Alphonso Davies though.
No, they don't. No. But just trying to show them unbiased. But that's all right. That's our back four. They're just lined rude. Up. No, very rude. Had to throw it in there. But we're gonna go on to the midfield now, and I'm gonna start with the CDM. I mean, I'm not gonna say there has to be specific formations, but I'm gonna start, and it's gonna go to Tyler Adams. There's a good shout. There's a good shout for a couple midfielders who I think Filippo can also agree that from the Canadian perspective, we're close. Atiba Hutchinson always deserves a good round of applause because he is such an experienced, talented player. But I mean, there's something in Tyler Adams that I really like. I think that there's a grit in him that is just the reason he's already at the Bundesliga level compared to Atiba, who spent the majority of his career in Turkey. But that's who I'm going to go for the 6.
So me too. Yeah. I also considered Eustáquio for the 6 because I know he can play there very well. Yeah. But I mean, Tyler Adams is an effective Bundesliga player. We know how good he is. I'm going with Tyler right there. I'm not going to talk much about it. I think when we go to the central midfielders, I'm going to have some points I'm going to have to make. Yeah. You want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you lead it off. 2 center mids.
I'm going to give my 2 center mids. One is Weston McKennie, my box-to-box. The other 8 that will be my team is due to my Gio Reyna playing central agenda. I'm going to put Giovanni Reyna as an 8. And I hope to see Greg play him there as well. I think what happens here, the reason I choose Gio, because there were other options and I could put a Gio on the right wing. We've seen him play there. He would have been fine. I think a midfield with Adams and McKennie lacks creativity. Right? There's a lot in this midfield, a lot of ground coverage, good pressing game, a lot of defense. Everything's there, but not much creativity. And that's one of the issues I have with the U.S. men's national team, the lack of creativity. With Gio there, that is resolved. And I also think that Gio is and you actually would be nice for you to talk a little bit about Gio in Dortmund this season, because I'm sure many Americans will be watching this and they're interested to see someone that's always watching. Gio's he's not a problem on defense. It's not like he's a problem. Yeah, he's not going to be freaking Tyler Adams on defense, but he's not like a liability playing at the 8, even though some people came up with some weird words saying that he was playing whatever the hell it was. What do you think about Gio at the 8?
Yeah, and Tact and I had a quick conversation before looking at the midfield 3, and both having vendettas for Gio. I mean, it's fun watching the U.S. men's national team fans consistently calling him to play centrally. Dortmund fans do the exact same thing, and that's why I have to go to the exact same as you, Weston, and then who's a little bit further behind Gio, who's a little bit further up the pitch. Eustáquio is the one that I would love to fit in there. And it's a little tough with these 3 because you need to fit Gio in this starting 11, and because of my passion and Tac's passion of putting him through the middle, that's exactly where we're going to do it. And the funny thing is, playing as an 8 is something that he's been doing this year, and he's been doing it to succession. I mean, he's a pretty tall man, to be honest. Tall boy, however you want to look at how young he is, but he is able to come back. Yeah, he's a man. He's a big man. But he's been that creativity that you talked about. He likes picking up the ball. He likes having it on his foot. He likes taking that responsibility. He's doing it at Dortmund. I can see him doing it for the U.S. men's national team. And he's found a real stroke of genius for Marco Rose, finally playing him centrally. Not the 10 which we all kind of thought maybe he'd be playing, because that's not the system that is going to fit with Marco Reus there. But he's playing as an 8. He's having a lot on the ball. He's had a beautiful goal already, and he's looked really confident in that position. And I think if you had him alongside Weston, who would do a job, and of course Tyler Adams, it'd be a good midfield 3.
Now, so for the U.S. men's national team, we bring Tim Ream to control Gio Reyna's anger issues. Who does that in Dortmund?
No, I mean, it's going to have to be a Kanji. Very, very, very level-headed man. Got to keep an eye on Gio. No,
yeah. So we use Tim Ream for that, but okay.
That's why he's in your guys' World Cup squad. Okay, all right. As long as he's starting, then I'm okay with that. That's good.
No, he's not. I don't know, man.
But yeah, no, that's a pretty strong midfield 3. It did go to the Americans, but I mean, big shout out to my boy Stefan Eustáquio. Really impressed, but.
Now, for the wingers, can we start with the left wing to get it out of the way because we know who it is? And then the right wing, we have a lot to talk about.
Okay, all right. We'll go left.
Pulisic.
Yeah, Pulisic. I mean, not too much. I mean, he's got off spot in my heart for the Dortmund boy as well. But yeah, he's at that level, man. Champions League winner. There's not a real debate who else could overthrow him, to be honest, from either side.
Now, right wing, we have a lot to talk about. So, well, do you want to get the center forward out of the way as well?
Yeah.
Let's
get it out of the way.
Jonathan David.
Yeah. And again, it's just kind of like Pulisic. There's not a huge debate. There's no one who I think can challenge either of those positions. It's pretty obvious to me.
Mm-hmm. Now, the right wing, there's a lot to talk about here. Okay, let me go through the several options. I'm not going to say who I'm picking right now. We're going to have to talk this through.
Okay.
The right wing, we can have Kyle Larin, plays for Besiktas, and he plays there as a right wing, as you told me. And Orlando, he was a center forward, but I guess they moved him, and he's done fine there. Scored 20 goals last season, I think. We also have another option emerging, Conrad De La Fuente. He plays on the left wing mostly, but if you put him on the right, I'm sure he'll be as effective as well. Very talented player, doing very well at Ligue 1.
Yes, he is.
Then we also have Brendan Harrison.
Yep.
That's another option as well. Then we also have Buchanan that we talked about earlier in the video. That's another option as well. And we also have Timothy Weah as an option. All these picks are debatable. Obviously, a few lead the way. I think we can talk about which ones lead the way. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options that are fine.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. I mean,
the
one that is the outlier for me in that list would be Weah.
The weakest one, you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Just because of playing time, I don't think he's done quite enough to go against the likes of the other players on that list. Good player. I watch him a lot I can't say I watch him a lot at Lille because he mostly comes from the bench, which is the biggest issue I had with him. But I do think there's a good player in there. I think this year he'll have a good opportunity to get a lot more playing time. But in that list right there, he'd probably be the weakest. What about you?
I think it's two players that I would place as the weakest. Even though one, I hate to say it, it's Weah, one of them
Yeah,
for sure, because of playing time. And even when he's playing, he hasn't been dominant, right? He's
yeah,
been good at games and very bad in other. I think Buchanan is still also below right there because we've seen Buchanan shine in MLS. He's one of the best MLS players.
yeah,
Now he's going to make a move abroad. Let's see how he's going to do internationally, how he's going to do in World Cup qualifying when he
yeah,
plays. So Buchanan, it's not that he's below, it's just we haven't seen him much outside of MLS, right?
yep,
In Gold Cup, let's take it with a grain of salt, right? Because of the teams that we face. So
yeah,
Buchanan's also behind. Now, Brandon Conrad and Kyle Larin are all up there, right? Brendan has done in MLS. He's doing very well in Austria, has done it well for the US men's national team. Conrad is an interesting one because we see the talent, right? We see it. We're seeing it. We're like, wow,
yep,
this guy is actually, he could, man, he could force Greg to move Reina central because of how good he is on the wing.
yep.
But we haven't seen a lot from Conrad as well, right? Didn't play last year at all. It was just a Barca. Now, 3 games in League did I get it right?
Yeah, Liga, you nailed it. You're good.
Liga. And these 3 games, which are not enough of a sample to judge a player, he's been fantastic. And every time he's on the ball, you see how dangerous he is. But I'm gonna have to go with Kyle Larin here. And this is not because people could say maybe it's an Orlando bias as well, right? There's 2 biases here, right? Canada and
Yep,
Orlando.
yep,
The thing with Kyle Larin is we've seen him do in MLS. He was Rookie of the Year when he played for Orlando, scored, I think, 14 or 15 goals. I don't remember, but he was one of the very few bright spots in Orlando on that horrible team. I think Jason Christ was the coach. Yeah. I think it was Jason Christ at the time, if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I don't remember when Jason Christ was here, actually. But what happens is Kyle Larin has done in MLS. He has done it for the Canadian men's national team World Cup qualifying. He has done it in Turkey. It's just more about who's more proven at this point. I think Conrad has way more potential than Larin, if I'm being fair. Brendan as well. Most of these guys, if I'm being fair. But right now, Larin he's proven himself in different leagues, very effective. 20 goals in the Turkish league is not a joke, right?
no,
I don't think the Turkish league is brilliant by any means, but it's not easy to score 20 goals. It's not anyone that does that. So I'm going to put Kyle Larin on the right wing for now.
yep. And you made a lot of really good points. And speaking about Buchanan as well, yeah, the Gold Cup I think really put his stock up. We know he can do it in the MLS, but yeah, he hasn't made that jump to Europe yet, so a little early. Very similar point that you mentioned about Conrad is the fact that, I mean, we're all probably pretty surprised. I'd probably put even Erison a little bit ahead of Conrad just because it's so fresh into his Marseille career. But if he keeps at this pace, man, he's gonna be something very special. Erison, I also can feel like he's pretty good playing centrally. No, I know Salzburg sometimes play in their 4-3-1-2. You kind of see him as that floating cam, which I really like watching him there. And then yeah, for the points that you just said, and the interesting thing for U.S. men's national team fans who might not know this, Besiktas played in a 4-1-4-1 last year, and Larin, for I want to say 80% of the games, played as a right mid or a left mid, and still put up those numbers. So yeah, I mean, he can easily play on the wing. For Canada, he does play centrally, but he's proven that he's very versatile, can go out on the wing and be very productive doing it. I'm Canadian too, so I need to get another body in there. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Kyle Larin.
The thing is also when we point out, for example, Tim Weah, it's a similar situation, right? Weah is a right winger, but he's almost like a second striker at times, right? At times he's coming in. That's the same for Larin. He has that habit of being a center forward or a striker, so he'll score more. He's a winger that will score a lot.
Yes, he will, and yeah, and it shows because I mean, when I watch him play, because I know, and Filippo knows through as center forward, and then all of a sudden playing as a right mid, left mid, and still being productive, it was almost like a bit of a head scratch. And then seeing him play centrally again for Canada and still put up numbers. But yeah, I really do like Kyle Larin. He has been linked to teams like Marseille, to West Ham, so I think it's a matter of time before he does actually take that next step himself. But for the time being, he gets a nice little spot on our Canadian men's national team and U.S. men's national team best 11, chosen by
Want to
Filippo and
recap the
Josh.
team? We had the same team. Want to recap it?
We do. I'm impressed.
4-3-3. Zach Steffen on goal. The fullbacks are Dest and Davies. The center backs are Brooks and Richards. The midfield is also All-American. It's Tyler Adams at the 6, Weston and Gio Reyna on the 8s, right? The dual 8s. Maybe
Yeah.
Gio creating more, attacking more. Pulisic on the left wing, Kyle Larin on the right wing, and the center forward is Jonathan David. And this is a pretty damn strong team. If we
Yeah.
don't you want to combine the countries?
We might as well at this point. You can just swallow us whole. And we're good.
You solved our problems here. You solved our problems. The center forward and the left back.
Yeah. Jonathan David, my man. But no, it is. I was surprised. I had a feeling one way or another I was hopefully gonna get 3 Canadians in, but it does show how strong the U.S. is, and hopefully this game coming up on Sunday will be a fun one to get an idea of what the two teams will look like going at each other full strength.
Yeah, absolutely. And may the best one win. And we'll talk about it in the preview. Yeah. Hopefully Canada plays their best players, and so does the United States.
Yeah, there'll be good debate around that. But Filippo, my man, I really appreciate you coming on. If you guys are interested in seeing our preview, be sure to head over to Tactical Manager's channel. It will be in the description. And one last time, guys, drop a like, apparently a dislike as well. I don't know. I don't care. It's all good. I hope you guys enjoy this. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.